Il Giallo, we're going to mix all of our pasta by hand. We're not going to use a mixture. And rather, we're not going to use a mixer. We're going to use the old-fashioned method of mixing it and kneading it by hand, and then through the machine, the rollers of the machine, rather than a big hopper that really beats the flour up a good deal. So to make pasta, takes flour, eggs, a little bit of olive oil. There's hundreds of different variations, whether you use all yolks or all whites. Some people will use a little water and saffron. There's lots of different ways, but this is the basic. The basic is for 1 kilo of pasta, you're using approximately 10 eggs, and that measurement can vary a little bit depending on humidity and the size of the eggs, but that's a good sort of rule of thumb. 1 kilo, 10 eggs. And here I have some nice organic eggs that we're going to make a nice pasta dough with. So we're just going to break these into the well. This is about roughly a pound or so flour, a little bit over. And I'm pretty good at eyeballing the quantity, so I'm going to use 1 extra egg yolk to give it a good color. Just fold in the sides a little bit, gently, a little bit at a time, so you're not going to make a big mess all over the counter. And also, I highly recommend when you're making pastas to do it on wood, because the pasta won't slide around. It stays put a lot better. I lived in Italy for close to 5 years, and I worked in this hotel in the northwest part of Italy, in Piemonte, outside of the city of Asti. And I was taught how to do this by the local people there, and I ended up being their main pasta guy. And what that meant was that every day we would make the pasta fresh, and we'd start off exactly like this: flour, eggs on the wooden table. And you mix it with a fork, and then you fold it in little by little. We did much bigger quantities than this, by the way, over there. But this is exactly what we used to do when I was living over there. So it's a good representation of the way it was and is made today. And gently just keep adding a little bit of flour until we have a nice firm texture. But not too terribly firm. Now you vary the kind of texture you get with the pasta by what you want to do with it. In this case, we're going to make the tortelli. So we want that to be a very soft and supple pasta, not a real firm to the bite kind of pasta. This is something that you want to be a great deal softer. So we're going to keep this dough pretty moist. And now I'm going to show you, roll it into a ball. Get rid of some of the excess flour. Set this aside. It's come in handy in just a moment. We need this just a little bit more. What we're trying to achieve is to get it to be a nice homogeneous, my board is slipping on me a little, a nice homogeneous color, nice and yellow, and nice and smooth. But we don't want to work it like you do bread, where the object of making bread and kneading bread is you're developing the gluten fibers to where they're really, really, really firm. Pasta, you want to develop it a little bit, but not to where it's going to turn very chewy, like bread would be. So a little bit different, but similar technique. You don't want to knead it till it's tough, unless you're doing, that's for the other kinds of pasta you want to do. Noodles, you want them to be firmer. So you work it a little bit more, but for the tortelli, you want to keep it a little bit softer. Okay, from this point, I've got my sheets ready. I'm gonna cut them into squares to make tortelli.